All right, ladies and gentlemen, your second and final lesson for this unit. This has been a quick one. We're going to talk about intervals. We're going to introduce the concept of intervals. An interval is simply the distance between two notes. It's like saying inches or feet or meters or kilometers, whatever. It is the musical distance between two notes. Now, it might not seem important. You might be thinking, well, why do I care what the distance is between a note? How do you measure that? And why do I care anyway? This really is just an introduction, and you will understand why it's important later on in this course, as well as certainly in future your musical studies, assuming you take grade 10 and 11 and 12 music, which all of you will be, because I'm sure you will be, because you love music. So, the beginning bits of intervals. So, an interval is the distance between two notes. When we talk about the distance between two notes, we always talk about the bottom note as being note number one. Not that we've traveled one step, but we always label the bottom note as note number one. I'm going to zoom in here real quick so I can show you what I mean. All right, now let me just grab my pointer here, okay, my little arrow. Here we have the first note, here we have the second note. So we're calling this first note note number one, while the second note is on the same pitch. So it is the interval of a first, or a unison. Unison meaning one. The distance of one, okay? We've not traveled anywhere. We are on the first note. Interval of a second means we've traveled, okay? So note number one, note number two. Let me just actually grab more of a circle pointer here so we can see it a little bit more clearly, hopefully. Note number one on the line, note number two in the space. Next example, note number one on the line, note number two is in the space, note number three. So this is the distance of a third. 1, 2, 3. Oh, not quite in pitch, but that's okay. All right, etc. The same thing goes for all of these. We'll do maybe one or two more examples. Here's note number one. There's note number four. This is the fourth note above this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, we always count the bottom note as note number one. All right? And the highest distance we're going to today is the eighth, or the octave. Okay, the distance of an eighth, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the space, 5, 6, 7 on the line, 8. So the distance of an eighth is an octave, or going from one letter name to the same letter name. All right, and that's why we call this distance an octave, because we've traveled 8. Octa, octopus, octagon, whatever, you know what I mean. Okay, it is called an octave because we've traveled 8 spots to get to the same letter name 8 notes away. So that's why the distance is called an octave. All right, so that is how you label the number distance between notes. There is more to labeling intervals than that, but that's what we're going for today. It's just the introduction. It's labeling the interval size. Okay, so name the when you need to name the following intervals, you need to find the distance. This is the distance of a second, or a fourth, or a seventh, or a first, or an octave. So when you do that, remember you count the bottom note as 1. 1, space is 2, line is 3, space is 4. This would be the interval of, and of course I just did it for you, the interval of a fourth, okay? Always count the bottom note as 1, and then you go. Count bottom note as 1, so 1, 2, 3 on the line, etc. You can do the rest of these together, okay? The question, what is an octave? Well, I just explained it to you a few seconds ago. And what does the word unison mean? I explained that at the beginning of the video as well, so you can zip back and do that. And find that definition. It asks you to draw notes above these given notes to make the following intervals. So here you are given the note C, and you are asked to write the distance of a fourth above that C. Here you have an F, write a second above that F. Draw the interval of a fifth above the D, above the G. And what is an octave above C? Well, you know what the word octave means. It means, okay, 8, the interval of an eighth. Right, so carry on with that sheet, finish it up. We made it in under 5 minutes again, and I'm sure you can finish the worksheet itself in under 5 minutes. Take care. See you next time.